I love drinking Guinness. My family are Irish, and it's a true story as well. I just thought it was absolutely outstanding.
Reminds you that every dynasty begins with grit and dirt and backstabbing.
This program blew my mind.
I didn't even know what AI was at the beginning of the program. So for me, the whole program's an education.
This is the next revolution.
Is AI going to become so intelligent that it's going to wipe out the human race?
Hopefully we don't get to the Skynet level.
The what?
Well,
Welcome to this episode of The Viewer Reviewers. I'm Yvonne. I am a television producer. And here we have Pushaun.
Hello.
We have Kev, Raquel, and we have Olivera and Drazen.
Hey.
And various animals.
yeah.
Oh.
House of Guinness is first. Cheers.
Ah.
Oh, they all have Guinness.
But
Hey, it doesn't have a long drink.
rush.
The House of Guinness on Netflix. So in the aftermath of brewery mogul Sir Benjamin Guinness's death in 1868, the show focuses on the power struggles and dark secrets of his 4 adult children as they navigate the fate of the family empire. Dun, dun, dun.
Excited.
The cross between Downton Abbey and Peaky Blinders. So there.
It was written by Stephen Knight, who wrote Peaky Blinders.
Well, so it appeals to my mum and my dad, because my mother hates Peaky Blinders, she likes Downton Abbey. My dad loves Peaky Blinders and not keen on Downton Abbey.
Pushaun?
I think I was expecting it just to be like another Downton Abbey, which I was looking forward to. From the trailer, it had some very grand people in grand costumes under some grand chandeliers, as you'd expect. And I was expecting it to be kind of a fluffy, piece that was just about rich people having a great time. It kind of didn't really occur to me that it was Irish. But of course, we all know it is. But that seemed, it wasn't even in my mind, as I said, I had to watch it. And then suddenly the politics of the Irish versus the British oppressors was just in your face. And it felt very familiar to me coming from another colonial, country, coming from India, where the struggle is something that I'm very familiar with, but I'm not used to it in an Irish context. But the venom with which they saw the British oppressors, and this difference between Protestant and Catholic, and Dublin versus Unionist, is something that was a real kind of like, oh, okay, so it's not all chandeliers and Cartier. Gonna be.
No, it's never gonna be silent.
And it went right into it, and that was really kind of okay. I was getting ready for my ice cream, but there's not much happening now. So it's, very hard hitting. Not what I expected, but very well done.
Bit like Wales independence on steroids, really.
Actually, that's 4 of us are from Wales here. Yeah, can you imagine what? I don't know if ours would be quite as fire and brimstone.
Religious aspect to go with it, have we? But
That's true.
the rest of it would be the same.
Yes.
But it's educational as well.
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't, and also it never occurred to me that a drink manufacturer essentially could be so kind of at the forefront of politics. I just thought, well, it's like Coca-Cola. They make a drink, they make money, and they're rich. Okay, that now it's a big clan. But it doesn't occur to you that they are the symbol of the oppressors to this huge, number of people. But but what was really cool as well was the way they got in that, even though people hate them, the fact that they produce beer is something that nobody wants to be without. No. So when they're talking about burning the barrels, the sister, very clever sister, as usual, the girls are much more intelligent than the boys, telling her brother, don't be daft. If you burn the barrels, yes, you'll be ruining their business, but nobody Irish will be able to have beer, and they're all going to kill you.
Yeah, that was.
So no, that was great. Anyway, I'll shut up now, but it's great.
What do you think, Kev?
What I thought was amazing was back in the day, how much money he was actually worth.
Oof.
And it shot up on the screen and said, in today's money, it was so much money. And you think, wow. And then we're going to take over the world. We're going to go to America and places. And me and my wife sat watching it. and I could not take my eyes off the whole lot. And I love drinking Guinness. My family are Irish, and it's a true story as well. I just thought it was absolutely outstanding, and I think there's more to come because the 4 children, the 2 main brothers that are main in the story, you got the wild card as well, and then you got the sister. I think there's so many avenues the stories could go down. It's unbelievable. I thought it was really, really good.
I think it's quite mesmerising, the sister.
And on top of that, when you have a dark horse of the guy who is right hand to everything, like he is pulling the strings really of the business.
He's
Rafferty.
the youngest one.
Yeah, the enforcer.
Yep.
You're talking about the James Norton character,
Yeah.
who is incredibly hot. I just have to say that.
Is that Mr. Yeah.
He was standing next to the burning barrels.
He can stand wherever he wants him, I think. Burning barrel, yeah, whatever.
Burning loins.
Yeah.
But I think we have to remember that it was only the landed gentry in those days that actually even had the vote.
True.
Even the way they talked about the elder son taking over the late father's parliamentary seat was just kind of, what?
Yeah.
And that's something that we can't really relate to these days. But in those days, I guess, was just a matter of form. Your father passes away, the son takes the seat.
Yeah, I think, looking from a perspective of, it's a good story to kind of show, again, like as Pushaun mentioned in there, it's based on a true, or Kev, like it's based on a true story. So kind of learning and I'm sure like representing the happenings, the kind of organization, how like one business can run the town. I think there's going to be a lot of power struggle, internal and external.
I think it's just going to become very messy. I think the family is going to fall apart. They're going to start killing each other. I really hope the sister is going to win. She's going to take over and run the business.
What was incredible was that even though you want to watch it originally because it's got the name Guinness in the title, within 5 minutes that becomes totally irrelevant.
Correct.
Forget it's about Guinness because it's such an amazing story. And then the other thing that you kind of think of, because Guinness is kind of a byword for glamour and fashion and all these things these days, you kind of forget that every business, every empire, every dynasty began with something generally that's either fighting, sort of violence, or business. And it's really manual, and it's in the docks, and it's rolling barrels, and it's, and that's how they began, because everyone has to start somewhere. And you kind of sort of reminds you that every dynasty begins with grit and dirt and backstabbing and dirty deals and treachery and just fighting and fighting and fighting. And it was but the main for me the take home was the fact that I forgot it was about the Guinnesses within a few minutes made me think this is going to be an amazing series.
Yeah.
I didn't even think that way, but like you're completely right. Like at the beginning, it's like you read about these facts and everything else, and then the story unravels and you completely forget about this.
Yeah. No, well made.
There's been pots of money spent on it by Netflix. I mean, the scenery, the CGI, the music. I was quite blown away by the music.
I love music.
The music was amazing.
It was one of the few programs where I've ever thought that is a really good sound mix.
They were doing the fights, and they had this amazing modern. I don't know what the right.
It was Elbow, I think. It was the really controversial Northern Irish band.
Because they're talking about getting the British out. And...
Yeah. They're one of the. I think their singer. Court case recently in Gaelic. Yeah, so they're part of the whole oppression of the Irish language and Irish culture.
And to me, the most important thing was that even though it's set in 1863, clearly it was after Brexit, because all of the passports would have.
It's going to come every week now, isn't it? Every week.
No, not from maroon ones because of the
What's with you and the Brexit and passports? This is always going to be part of the story. Guinness and after Brexit passport.
Let it go. It's going to keep recurring.
Anything that wasn't quite working for you?
I loved it. I've been through the next 3.
It was all that was intriguing, and I think it was 54 minutes every episode. It didn't seem like that.
No.
Where the bodies in the morgue one felt like 50 odd minutes.
It was when it was only 45, actually.
That was it. Well,
It's about real people as well, and it's not that long ago. It would be nice to know, well, maybe not nice, but it'd be interesting to know what contemporary Guinness family members think of the production, and if they were involved in its making, and if they were or weren't, what they think of the final result. Because it's going to be, there'll be things in there which presumably over the course of the series, just because of the nature of these things, are going to be not necessarily all flattering. And it would be interesting to know what they got sort of signed off on by the family, and what.
Is it still owned by a family, or is it? I don't know.
I don't know, but in a way, because the family still exists as a family, whether they still own it or not, it's kind of about them. And we all have skeletons in our closet, in our, larger extended families. And if these are being exposed, especially the true, the things that aren't fictionalized to make it more jazzy, they might not necessarily want people to know these things, but. Or maybe they're completely in support. I have no idea.
We would never know, because Netflix and most other television channels these days will not allow you to watch the end of the bloody credits, which really annoys me.
Oh, right.
You have the thing saying whether it takes you to the next episode. So as a television producer, I want to watch the credits. I'm like, do anybody that works on this program, do I have any slight connection with the lovely lavish Guinness program? But I'm always being sent on to another episode, which annoys me. So the Guinness family, had they been involved, would probably be at the bottom of the credits saying, with thanks to the Guinness family.
Yeah, interesting.
What about the last episode, Yvonne? Does it play to the end on the last episode?
I don't know, because I haven't got. It's only you that's binged them, right?
You were the only one binging on a Guinness, really.
Should we give it? We've got a very enthusiastic response then to the House of Guinness. Should we give it a mark out of 5?
5.
Yeah.
At 5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
4.5.
4.5 last time. What's the half? Where does the half go?
Brexit.
So because I've only watched 2 episodes, I'm expecting a lot more. I don't know what's coming, but I'm excited to see it. I would say a 5, but I think it's going to get better. So I think it will be 5 in the end. I'm confident of that. So yeah, 4.5.
I'm with Kevin on that one. I'm 4.5 as well. Yeah.
I'll go for 5. I think last time I gave 4.5, like didn't live up to be like 2, but based on the first episode and everything, I'll give it a 5. Like definitely, we're at continuing watching, and then obviously dropping if it kind of goes worse. But like based on the first one, acting, like the story, the music, everything, it's well worth kind of going into the next one.
Pushaun?
I think that I was going to say 4.5, but I think there's a lot more to it that I don't know. Like, for example, the music choices. You were saying it's controversial. I mean, there are lots. I'm sure there's lots of stuff that went above my head. So I'm going to award the extra 0.5 for those things I don't know yet, but are in there that I just haven't. I'm not clever enough to know about.
On to our second programme. Will AI take my job? Streaming on Channel 4. Okay, so this is a Channel 4 dispatches. Will AI leave millions of Britain's skilled workforce without a job? From healthcare to the law and more. Dispatches investigates, pitting humans versus machines to find out who's the best worker. So, Olivera, are we losing you then here? At this point?
Yes, we are. You are.
She's being replaced by AI.
Let me just find
AI.
a specialist for this subject.
Oh, this is exciting.
We thought like for AI subject we would actually bring somebody a bit more relevant. Like I'll let Dorian introduce himself, but he's a younger generation and he is into that. Like, well, when I say he's into that, but he'll introduce himself.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. Celebrity guest.
Yes.
Celebrity guest, exactly. Yeah.
Hello.
So, Dorian, right? Would you like to introduce yourself and why you are interested in talking about AI?
Oh, yeah, of course. So my name is Dorian. I study computer science and cybersecurity at York. And yeah, I mean, obviously AI very interesting for me because it's going to affect my line of work as well.
I know how old you are because I was at your birthday party, but if you could just say how old you are.
Oh yeah, I'm 20. I'm 21 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So yeah, so tell us what you thought of this program.
I feel like it was very interesting. I found it very engaging as well, and I really liked the fact that AI was brought, up face to face with a variety of people working different jobs. I like the competition part of it as well, and I think it did bring light to the fact that AI is out there and it is able to be competitive with professionals at what they're doing.
So should we just summarize, in fact? So it was a female presenter who we'll talk about later, and then it was a composer, a solicitor, a doctor, and a fashion photographer who were all up against a deep fake version of themselves. And they all were given tasks that they then had to complete. And then there was a competition between the AI version and the real person, and a outcome of each one. So first up was the doctor, wasn't he?
Sorry, Yvonne.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what AI was at the beginning of the program. So for me, the whole program was an education, regardless of whether it's going to be good competition or not, because I didn't know what AI was. People fling AI around as a statement, and I genuinely didn't know what it was.
Have you never logged on to ChatGPT or anything like that? Or
No, there's been absolutely no involvement of AI in my life that I know of. So I when they were talking about photography and things like that, I just thought the airbrush photograph and stuff like that. I'm still in those days. I didn't really know what it was. No. And I felt a bit inadequate, really, because I went into it not even knowing what it was.
But that's interesting, because obviously, I'm sure you're not, there are a lot of people who would be in the same situation as you.
From that perspective, it's kind of quite good to kind of run these programs and kind of introduce people to the idea. I think from what I was expecting, kind of working in the field and understanding this, and I was little the title is misleading. It's really good show in terms of, hey, here are the 4 different industries that kind of we're just giving it as example that's going to be impacted, and it's 100% truth. But I think when they were saying we're going to pit you against AI, I think that was misleading, because it was, I'm going to pit you against the people who will be using AI as a tool in the jobs and kind of see what a future will bring.
Yeah, the deep fake was more of a device, wasn't it?
Right.
That didn't kind of pop up again. Just to say as well, you work in IT, don't you, Drazen, which is relevant to this discussion.
Oh yeah, I do, yes.
Kev, what did you think?
This program blew my mind. I didn't understand they could do photography. The doctor one, I thought the doctor, he was superb. The way he spoke to each individual patient.
Yes.
It was very thorough. And when they spoke to the AI, they answered the same questions and they gave great things back. But it's when they turned around at the end and said they'd done it a lot quicker. To me, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? But then in each other ones we're going to talk about now, it's about saving money, and if it's quicker, is it better? I don't know. But I was blown away by the results from the AI.
He took an hour, didn't he? Over an hour for all of those patients. I think it was about 6 patients.
Yeah.
I was upset that they didn't have a mental health issue in there.
Correct.
Yes.
I agree.
Interesting.
Because that is, after cancer, there's probably the biggest strain on the NHS these days.
What did you think, Pushaun?
It was just very brave of Raquel to say that she didn't know what AI was at the start of this, because I think, as you said, there'll be so many people who are in that position, and in these days when we're all meant to know everything about everything, I think it's just very brave to stand up and say, actually, I don't have a clue about this. I don't know. I've never heard of this before. Or this is the first time I've got involved in it, and I think it's just a really very, very strong thing to say. So well done.
Thank you.
Dorian, what did you think of the doctor and of the whole deep fake? The setup, the competition.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when they come into the room and then they're face to face with their AI image, And then all of them were, first of all, really weirded out by it. And I guess that is the appropriate reaction when you see a reflection of yourself that isn't you. So I think that was really good in sort of explaining how kind of good this AI is and kind of how scary it can also be at the same time. So I think that was a really interesting thing to add into it. That's what I liked. As for the actual doctor part, I feel like it was good, but I think the AI part of it, you can kind of tell that, first of all, I think people would be more comfortable with a physical person, but at the same time, again, the point where at the end it says, oh yeah, but the doctor took, what was it, 67 minutes, whereas the AI took somewhere around 25.
Yeah.
It's like the time it takes is a big difference, and it could be like a big factor in things.
They were quite personal problems, actually.
Yeah.
Like what Guy talked about, his stools being black, and in fact, those sorts of problems are actually probably easier to put in on a computer, your symptoms. But is it as effective? I mean, I felt the doctor I would much rather go and see that doctor. He was a very good doctor. He was like perfect GP, wasn't he? I think we have to give a shout out. His name's Tom Ruston, GP of Surrey, and his very brave lineup of patients who were all talking about their very personal problems.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well done them.
But the question is how long you would have to wait to see him. Like when I call my GP, like normally they can give me like appointment
3 weeks,
probably within the next 6 weeks.
Are we going to end up with, like you're saying, Raquel, you've had a cancer, I think.
Yeah.
We might end up with people with horrible life-threatening diseases. I find it quite worrying, actually, the AI doctor.
And to be fair, that was picked up on screening, which is a different animal completely anyway. Our screening programs, my cancer, I mean. My concern in terms of the AI doctor is it was very much a one-way conversation. It was very much them asking you about symptoms. What happens when you have questions to ask the doctor? Advice, further information. It was all about, what's your symptom? What colours your poo? What's this? What's that? Then come back with ta-da! And there wasn't an interaction.
As a younger person, because it might be that because we're older and we're used to chatting to the GP and we like that face-to-face interaction. What would you prefer? Would you prefer AI GP or person GP?
I would still prefer an in-person GP, in my opinion, because, well, first of all, like they can see me, and then, and I'd feel like I can actually talk to them more, and then, they talk to me back, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't notice this as well, and then, talk about it more. Whereas, there is that uncertainty as well that we saw from the video too, where it's not 100%, and well, it's not 100% as well with like an in-person, but at least it feels more trusting that it's another human being rather than something that's just giving you data back based off of things that you tell it, because you might be wrong in saying something, and then that's where an in-person GP could say, oh, but are you also having this and that problem? Or, they might be able to see something physically that's wrong with the persons.
Yeah.
I think that there's an issue with AI in all spheres, in that accountability is a very complicated sphere. And if you have a human, at least you know that this human being is accountable, they've passed exams. Whereas if a computer program gets something wrong and something happens to you as a result, who do you complain to, and who's liable for your illness, or ultimately perhaps your even your death?
For the music one, my feeling was you're actually pitting real composer versus like new, hey, I can work with the AI and I can try instruct AI to make the music for me. So this was really not composer versus AI. It was really composer versus another person who is now, instead of having a studio and everything else, using a AI tool or a different tool to edit the music, to create something and all of that. And I think, of course, the composer, he had this ability to read the scene, adjust the music, because he has done it for years and years and years, and kind of he has that, he's really emotionally connected to the things, and kind of that's why he created a piece that's obviously masterpiece and fitted really well in there.
I thought that was really interesting, that one, actually, the composer. I would have been gutted if he hadn't won.
I would really love to see him, same guy, competing with himself, using the AI tools, instructing the AI tools to do the stuff instead of him, and plus him doing in a studio. Would he get the same result, let's say faster? So would he then be able to get exactly the same composition in the end? Maybe not himself playing, but like, you know, AI playing. But let's say instead of spending, I can't remember now how long he spent there, but like, let's say a day, would he be able to do that in like 2 hours?
It'd be really interesting to see.
Because money was because if he could compose 5 things in a day instead of 1, then he's quids in, isn't he?
100%.
But then would he? Because it's his art form, isn't it? He thought so carefully about that shark. I mean, it was so much, as the guy said, it's night and day between them. How much do you use AI at university, Dorian? You know, write me an essay on cybersecurity, ChatGPT.
No, I don't ask it to write anything.
No, you're not putting this up. Sorry, this is off the record here.
No.
How much is it?
No, genuinely, like the only thing I use it for is information gathering. And coming up with, like, I don't know, random ideas or something. Like if I don't understand something, I'll ask it, but I don't really like asking it to do all the work for me. When it comes to actually, I think, creating different things, I think that's when it can start. I don't think it's good enough to do that kind of thing yet.
Yeah.
One thing I got from it all, I'm a support worker, so I look after adults with ABIs, which are acute brain injuries.
Oh.
And I watched it and I thought, thank God AI cannot do my job.
Oh no. Yeah, no, that's
100%. I saw all these jobs going on, and I've done lots of jobs in my life in entertainment and things like this. The job I do is so personal, hands-on, and I know that AI could not do my job, and I'm quite thankful for that. That's one thing I said to my wife. So yeah.
I think this is the first time, like, obviously in a I don't want to say history of humankind, because that kind of sounds so grand, but like actually white collars are going to be replaced. I think the biggest answer here is will have to come from the government, what they are doing to, don't want to say protect, but like, you know, what they are doing to keep the order in the society, because when you have a lot of people potentially like threatened with their like life existence, you know, the things can happen.
What did we think of the presenter? I was just looking, I was thinking something is off with you. It's the way she did this little nod at the end of her piece, first person to camera. I was like, you're a bit dodgy. And she looked like she had a Zoom background. I was like, what is that?
You're a bit dodgy.
So it turns out she's AI, Aisha Gabon. But then there was the other guy, Daniel. And I actually thought maybe he is AI, but then he turned out to be a human. Yeah. Should we give this program a score? Oh, actually, do we think Channel 4 did a good job in presenting this program? Was it a good program to have on television?
Yes.
I would say definitely yes.
It was engaging, interesting.
And it was at the right level for someone like me that knew nothing at all to introduce me into it. I'm not going to give it a full score because in the health side of it, it didn't cover, as Kevin said, from my perspective and people that I have helped, the mental health side of thing is the biggest drain on the National Health Service, and there was absolutely no reference to that whatsoever.
Right. Interesting. So what would you give it then?
3.
Kev?
I'd give it 3.5. Very similar to Raquel there. I thought it was very, very good. But it made me think a lot more about it. Yeah, so 3.5 for me.
Drazen and Dorian?
I think, yeah, I'll probably give it a 3.5 for, it was interesting. I enjoyed watching it, and I feel like it was good to kind of put that out there just so people can actually see the comparison. But at the same time, like my dad was saying, it was showcasing a lot of people using the AI tool and not the AI tool actually replacing the person. Where, I mean, they sort of gave that example with the doctor, I guess, where the patient was asking the AI directly and then asking the doctor directly. So that was the thing that would stop it from being a 5. But yeah, apart from that, it was really engaging, interesting, and I feel like a lot of people would enjoy watching it.
Would you recommend it to your friends, or would they not? Was it an old person's program, or
I was just going to ask the
young?
No, I mean, I think I would recommend it to some friends because
non-IT friends.
Yeah, I think, and IT friends as well. But I think I'd more want to show my non-IT friends because they'd be more shocked by it.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see or hear their reactions on what they think about it, because from someone who isn't as informed about AI, I feel like it would be very interesting to see people's reaction to what it is actually currently capable of doing and how it is able to fit into the work that professionals do.
And is AI going to kill us all in the end? Is AI going to become so intelligent that it's going to wipe out the human race?
Hopefully we don't get to the Skynet level.
The what?
Well,
What kid named it?
Skynet from the Terminator. Come on.
Oh,
I think show itself, it has to be. It's great that they put it on TV, like, and it's good. I think it's. So from that perspective, I'll probably say to everybody, watch it. Like it's very relevant to everybody. This is the next revolution. Like we had industrial revolution. Like this is now going to be like information and all of that. So from that perspective, I would probably say I would give 5. However, given that's really misleading in this point in time, I would give it 2, because it wasn't will AI replace my Because it wasn't will AI replace my job. It's will people with the AI skills be more relevant than I. That is really what they were showing here.
It's still a useful idiot, isn't it, really, until it develops its emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
We'll quickly do 2 minutes, 2 minutes of traitors. So I can put my hood on.
Hey,
I bought myself traitors.
oh, that's amazing.
Nice.
It was only
It still has a price tag on it.
right. So traitors, just for a couple of minutes. What do you think then at the moment?
That's amazing. This is the best one, and I think because you know the characters involved, as opposed to in the general population one, when you don't really know the people that are involved in it, learning about them, aren't you? So the rugby player guy, when he came up with the big guns theory, that was genius.
Big dog theory.
Yeah, big dog, sorry. I didn't even think of that until he said that. I went, yeah, she's actually right. And who else do I really like? No, just Alan Carr. I love him. He's just hilarious. Oh, it's Jonathan Ross, obviously.
Yeah, Jonathan. I still got a bit of a crush on Jonathan Ross after a long time. His career, probably.
He's got floppy hair.
He's lovely, and his clothes are so wild. His wardrobe was he was wearing +4s the other day. He just
Yeah.
walked into the round table wearing these +4s and like long socks and lace up shoes. And I just thought, Jonathan, you just look fabulous. He's great.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
eccentric, isn't he?
Yeah, he's brilliant.
But Alan is just hilarious because he's so relatable. And so, like, it's just completely changed. It's frightened of being a traitor and now he loves it.
Yeah, he's really enjoying it. Yeah.
I love it. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 for the traitor. Yeah, it's superb. Okay. Thank you so much.